Hi guys, today we're going to take a look at functions and parameters. So we're going to start using this new concept here today. So let's get going here and open up a new playground within Xcode. Let's just go ahead and we'll call this playground functions and parameters. Okay, go ahead and create that playground and then save that. And then we'll go ahead and get into our playground, and then we'll start working with this here. So functions are very useful. We've already used functions within our apps when we've created our IB actions. Those have some functions there. But basically, functions are again, it's an action. It's going to make something happen within your app there. So again, every function can have parameters. It can return a values. But we're going to start basic with this here and just kind of go through a simple function. Just show you some of the formatting with it here. So I'm just going to put functions up top here. All right, so the first thing you always want to start with is the keyword func. Okay, so that's the first thing that's going to let Xcode and Swift know that, hey, we're creating a function here. Okay, after that, we always want to name the function. So this one, we're just going to call it say hello. We always want to use our camel casing. So we've said we're going to create a function, and we've named our function say hello. All right. After that, we always want to put our parentheses here. All right. So those will be useful in a moment here when we start passing parameters. Right now, we're not going to have any parameters, but we still need the parentheses. And then we create our curly braces. All right. So that has our function is off and running here. Okay. So basically, what happens here is anything inside of these curly braces. I'm going to enter that down here. Anything inside of these happens when we call this function here. Okay, so for example, for this one, we'll keep this very simple here. Actually, I'm going to open up my assistant editor. Yeah, so let's do that. So that way we can see our output here in the console output. All right, but let's say we just want to print out a statement here, and we want to say hello. So we're going to print line. All right, print ln. We're just going to say hello, all right, hence the name of the function. Okay, so now, again, let's just review. We've created a function called say hello. We have no parameters in it. We've printed out this. We're going to print out the statement say hello. Okay, so now if we call the function, okay, so to call a function, what we mean by that is we're going to call the function, say hello, starts showing up here. All right, so we're just going to let that autocomplete. You'll see that it prints out here because we specified inside this function to print out say hello. Okay, so again, we could change this to say hi. All right, and then the output changes. All right, so anything inside these curly braces happens when the say hello function is called. Okay, so that's a basic function there. All right, move that so you can see. There we go. All right, so that's how a basic function would work there. Okay, so now again, you could use that within your apps, and you could tie that into an IB action, or again, many ways you can use these here. All right, but it's important just to understand just the basic formatting. All right, so again, we always have the keyword func, name of the function, parentheses for parameters, curly braces, and then whatever's inside the curly braces will happen when you call this function here. Okay, so let's move on here. Let's take it a step further here, and let's go functions. We'll add a parameter here. Learn how to type here. There we go. Functions. There we go. And parameters. All right, so now what a parameter is basically it's input you can pass to a function. Okay, so when you call the function, if you want the user to maybe be able to add an item, to enter their name or something like that, you can set up a function to do that. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll go ahead. Let's create a function with a basic parameter. So let's go ahead as the same thing as last time. Func is the keyword. We're going to call this one say hello to me. Okay, so now. So far, everything's the same, keyword func, and then we named our function. So now, inside these parentheses here, all right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pass this a parameter. Okay, so basically, we want to pass this. We want some input to be put into our function by the user. Okay, so how this goes is the first thing is you always give the name of your parameter. So we're going to pass this function our name. So we're going to create a name parameter. So name is that's the name. That could be anything. Okay, anything you want that to be. We have to specify what type we want this to be. So we're going to have this a string. It won't infer, so you do have to specify that. Okay, so now we've created a basic function with passing it one parameter. So we said say hello to me is the name. We passed it a string variable or a string parameter called name. All right, so what we'll take a look at now is what do we want this function to do? Okay, we want to print this out, so it prints out a sentence that says hello and your first name here. Okay, so inside this function, all right, let's do that just so it's a little clearer that we're inside. We're going to call a variable and we'll just call it result, okay, because we're going to print out the results of what we type in next here. So we want a sentence to say hello. All right, and then we want to add, okay, so that's the first part. Okay, now we want this to be whatever the user is going to type in. Okay, so this could be your name, your friend's name. So that's why we've added this parameter here, so it gives a little flexibility. So we're just going to go ahead and call that parameter. Okay, so say hello, and then now name is in there. Okay, so again, we're adding our strings together, and then we're going to print that out. So we'll print line, and then we're just going to print result, and that'll come to the console. All right, so now we're ready to call this function. So let's go say hello to me, and you'll notice that now, unlike say hello, this one's empty. This one has the parameter in there. So when we call that one, okay, we need to put something in here. Okay, we're going to get an error, and the error is going to say, see if this comes up here, it's expecting something here. Okay, so let's get rid of that here. So let's go ahead and put in your name. I'll put my name in here. And I'll get rid of that. All right, so say hello, Chris, and you'll notice it says hello, Chris. All right, because remember up here, hello, and then when we added the name parameter to it, so that's how that would work. All right, the result is hello plus the name parameter we typed in. And I could change this to Bob, and you'll see it changes to Bob. Okay, so once again, we're passing parameters, we're giving input to it, and that's how I function with one parameter would look there. Okay, so now let's go to the next step here. Okay, and let's do a function with two parameters. Okay, and let's take a look at that. Okay, so pretty similar here. Okay, so we're going to create a function that's going to say hello to my first and last name. So we'll start with our keyword func. We'll say hello to me again. We'll just change that up. All right, let's just get our formatting set up here. Oops, let me get that out of there. There we go. All right, so now let's pass two parameters. So first one's going to be first name. That's going to be a string. And now to add a second one, all you have to do is put a comma. So we can just go comma, and then we can go last name, string. And now we've got our two parameters in there. First name, last name. Important that you separate by a comma or else you will get an error message. All right, so let's go ahead and print this out. So just like up here, all right, we're going to go var result is equal to hello. And we're just going to add in our parameters, that is. So first name, okay, and then we're going to go plus. We'll put a space in here. And then we'll go last name. Okay, and then we just need to print out our results to get that to the console. So we'll go print results. All right, and then our function with two parameters is all created. Okay, so now if I were to call this one, again, we've got all three of them, so you can see the kind of progression. So no parameters, one parameter, two parameters. Let's call that one. All right, so we'll just go ahead and, oh, I got to put that into a string there because that's not going to work. Okay. So again, make sure we're never losing sight of those small details there. And then it puts that in there, and you'll notice it says, hello, Chris Snyder. All right, so again, if I wanted to, just to add another space here. There we go, just to clean that up a little bit. Oh, hang on. Oh, shoot. Let me get that one out of here. There we go. All right, so attention to detail there. So we got hello, Chris Snyder with spaces in between there. So we've got functions with two parameters. Okay, so as you can see, now the users are basically getting the ability to, they're going to call the function, but or the user or just there's more flexibility, so it's not hard coded. So you can update this, and you can pass input into your functions here. Pretty easy, just a matter of setting up your parameters. All right, last thing I'm going to show you here, okay, is just if you want to start giving some clarification or make it a little more clear, you might want to have something you can make you can identify what the parameter is there, so when they call the function, the name of the parameter shows up so they know what they're doing. So if you have like a function with 3 or 4 parameters, it might be useful to require the parameter name of the function. So to do that, all right, so we'll just call this function with parameter names. All right, we'll just go func, and then we'll go say hello to me yet again. A nice long function name there. Okay, so now So let's say if we're just going to keep this to 2 right now, but again, if you're going to have multiple parameters here, do you want the name to show up? If you put the pound sign in front of the parameter name, so first name, then everything else is the same, we'll show you what happens here in a moment. All right, so pound sign, last name, string. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to copy this down here, because again, we're going to be working with the same things here. Okay, so now what'll happen, so let me show you the difference. So when this function gets called, you'll notice that first name and last name show up in the function call. Okay, so that way, again, just if you want them to make sure they know what they're typing there, you can do that, and then the same thing's going to happen here, Bob Bob. And when I call that, it's still going to say hello Bob Bob. So it doesn't change the output. It just gives a little more clarification, in your code there. So that's something that can be useful, not necessarily something you need to do, but again, just something I'd like to show you. And it's pretty easy to do. It's just a pound sign in front of them. So we covered a lot here. So we started with a basic function with a no parameter, and then we moved all the way down from 1 to 2, and then we've also added the ability to add the parameter name in the function call. So again, this is stuff that again we'll add return types in our next lesson here, but we need to understand how this all works before we move on to that. So we'll do some review work in class with it as well. But as always, have questions, see me, let me know. All right, but nice job getting through this lesson, and we will see you next time.